episode of Surviving the Survivor. We bring you the best guests in all of true crime. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, Joel Waldman.
What's up, STS Nation? Welcome to another episode of Surviving the Survivor, the podcast that promises to bring you the best guests in true crime. And we are here, albeit a bit of a disastrous start. We are trying to get, and I see him in the background, we're trying to get Larry LaVine all set up on his camera. I love these guys. I'm going to introduce you to them all. I'm hearing myself now, COE, till we... Larry, do you hear us?
I hear you coming out of my soundboard for some.
All right. Well, I'm muting Larry, and the COE will work on that. That's what we've been dealing with. We're out. Former inmates. These guys, everyone knows Tommy Scoville. Tommy was doing well from Vermont. Businessman, successful. Got injured. He was a professional skier. That got him addicted to drugs. That got him robbing banks, which isn't a great way to pay for things. And that got him put in a federal prison. And now he is out, and he's got the lifeboat, and he is helping people change their lives around by getting them sober. And then you got A.B. Butler. I think it is Back in the Game Entertainment, because he's back in the game. AB, just remind me, you went away for a long time. I want to say was it 30 years or something crazy like that? What were you in for?
Drugs.
Drugs. There you go. New York does not mess around with drugs. So I love these guys. The only problem is that they're probably worse with tech than I am. So we got AB on the vertical. Tommy is here, and Larry has a set that's more complicated than CNN, but he insists on using it, and it never works. So, but we're gonna get Larry on.
Hello.
In due time.
Hey,
Larry. There he is. You're here. Larry, Tommy, AB. Everyone knows Larry LaVine. Larry needs no intro. He promised that he will be on his best language behavior today, and I'm gonna pitch Larry's book in a moment. Larry, what is the title again?
I don't even remember. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're a little echoey, but we hear you well enough.
Yeah, because I'm broadcasting from the toilet. Yeah, the name of my book is Lies My Lawyer Told Me.
Lies My Lawyer.
I see Tommy shaking his head because he knows. It walks people through the federal court system from the time your door gets kicked in until the time you get sentenced, and it just breaks everything down. And it's like I said, or like the book title says, Lies My Lawyer Told Me. But it also has lies the judges tell and the prosecutors, the pretrial services office, the cops that arrested you. It breaks it all down and steps people through. It's about 350 pages right now. I've got 22 chapters written. I've got maybe 3 more chapters to go, and hopefully we can launch this come next month. I got a cover already made. I think I sent you the cover. Didn't I?
We're gonna put the cover up, and I'm gonna Larry.
Can I be your lawyer, Larry?
Disconnect your mic, Larry, and just use the phone mic because you're crackling like a box.
Really? Now you hear my mic, but you didn't hear it before. That's
correct.
Crazy. Hang on a minute.
I'm going to mute you for a second. What else would you expect but an unmitigated disaster on a Thursday? Larry LaVine, he brings the heat, but he also brings the chaos. Larry always brings the chaos. So without further ado, we're going to dive into this. I can't hear you now, Larry. Hold on. Larry, speak to me.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
He probably got to cut his mic down.
You're still like crackling. You got to disconnect your mic.
I did.
Talk to me. Oh, we just. Larry is a whole mood. Mish is absolutely correct. Hey, I don't know. I'm just gonna roll with this. We're gonna actually have fun despite the serious topic here.
Larry's a legend.
AB, let's start
Yes,
with
sir.
you.
Yes,
You're
sir.
interesting. I think you're from Brooklyn, right? You from
No,
Brooklyn?
I'm from Mount Vernon. Money
Oh, Mount
earning Mount
Vernon.
Vernon.
Oh,
Yes, yes,
just north
yes,
of the city.
yes.
But you have been involved in the music industry for how many years? Even when you were away, locked up, you were in the music industry. Tell us how far back that goes, how you were involved in the music industry. And I understand that you've crossed paths with Diddy himself.
Yeah, I knew Puff when he was a kid. He was a paper boy in Mount Vernon. And I've been in the music industry for, I'm 25 years old, so 25 years.
Mm. So do me a favor, AB, if you
Mm.
can. You said you knew Diddy when he was a paper boy. You mean literally? I never know with you guys if you're using like prison lingo, like paper
No, no,
boy
no,
means
no.
something else. But
No,
was he a real?
that's American. That's American language. Paper boy. Yeah, he used to deliver papers in Mount Vernon when he was a kid.
And is that where he's from too? I thought
He's from Mount Vernon. You know what I mean? He's gonna say Harlem, but he was raised in Mount Vernon. I might have a picture in my phone.
We'll get that. We'll get that later. I don't want you to touch your phone because it'll all go to hell. Larry, are you hearing us?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Still popping.
Your audio's crappy, but we'll
You know
keep
what?
you.
Let me bang the phone. Hold on a minute. Let me smack this son of a bitch.
Look, is that Diddy?
Wow.
Wow, look at that, guys. Do you see that? That is a. Oh, I don't know what he just did. AB, can you text me that after the show? That is Diddy as a paper boy. You're only seeing that on SDS right now.
That's when
Little
he
League.
That's when he was playing for the Little League, but that's how little he was when he was a paper boy in Mount Vernon.
Love it.
Wow. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna come back to you, and we're gonna get into this now. Larry is the thorn in my side here today, but it's all good. So, for those of you who have been living under a rock, amazingly, our numbers are ticking up. There he goes. That is a picture of Diddy as a paper boy in Mount Vernon, New York. Diddy as a paper boy in Mount Vernon, New York. That is how long AB has known Diddy. Wow, that's pretty incredible. So for those who have been living under a rock, New York City's blown up. You got the mayor now indicted. His entire inner circle looks like they're going down. What's happening is just kind of crazy. And then you throw Diddy into the mix, and people were saying, hey, and we can ask Tommy about this. Is there any connection, which I don't think there is, between the mayor and Diddy? Who knows? We'll ask Tommy in a second. But as it pertains to Diddy, there was a federal indictment. Prosecutors alleging that Sean Combs and his associates threatened, abused, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires. That included forcing victims into engaging in recorded sexual activity, which has now become commonly known as a freak-off, at least commonly in no. The answer is no, Michelle. Michelle Cavernos is asking, is America okay? I'm trying to pull up the comment, but the answer to that is no, it is not okay. I don't know what's going on in this country. Larry, are you back?
I'm back. I'm on a different phone. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're still cracked. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't understand this.
You probably just got to turn it down some.
Maybe that's
maybe
it.
I can talk just low like this. Is that better?
Turn it down just a little bit.
I don't get. This is a different telephone. I have 3 cell phones here.
That's the problem. Your lawyer's still lying to you.
Maybe the problem isn't on your end.
Your lawyer's still lying to you.
I'm going to keep you muted unless you're talking, Larry. And then when you talk, you'll just go.
Hold on a minute. How long is this broadcast?
It's going to be like an hour, but with you, maybe 3 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to be back here in 10 minutes with a lap. Okay?
Beautiful.
This is fucking nonsense. I'll be right back.
We love you, Larry. All right. There. Okay.
He need his own podcast.
So, Tommy Scoville this is just an unmitigated train wreck, but I'm going to have fun with it. So, here's the deal. There's news coming out every day about this, and I promise you we're going to get back to AB and some of his earliest memories, I guess, of Sean Combs is how he knew him, I'm sure, before he knew him as Diddy, and he knew him before any of us did. But there's news coming out every day, Tommy Scoville, and today's news is that Mark Agnifilio, who's now Diddy's attorney, he told TMZ, and TMZ does break, a lot of people make fun of TMZ, but they break a lot of news that turns out sometimes to be accurate. He's saying that Diddy is now insisting that when this goes to trial, that he will take the stand to tell his story. The quote is, "I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. I think he's very eager to tell his story." So 2 questions. Do you think we see Diddy on the stand eventually? This will go to trial. I'm convinced of it. There's always a chance there's some kind of deal. But if we go to trial, will he speak in his own defense? And is that a big mistake or not, Tommy?
I think that that this will go to trial unless something bad happens to him between now and then, which has happened before, you know. But if this gets to trial, he's going to have to take the stand, because this is going to be one of those cases where that Hail Mary is probably the only thing. That's just an opinion, but the amount of evidence that the feds are going to throw at him, I think, you know, your only hope may be to get up on that stand and hope that there's 1 or 2 people in that jury that really, you know, take to you. I think it's going to be a really ugly prosecution. I think there's going to be a mountain of crap. You know, they're just continuing to build on this.
Wow. Veronica says 98% of the time TMZ is right. They triple fact check all tips and information before posting the story. I'll say maybe 97%. Lori Rowell says, Rowell, he will take the stand. He's too narcissistic not to. Do me a favor. I really want to open this up. It's not every day you get to talk to 3 former inmates. If Larry ever gets back, they have a perspective that none of us have. I have a tremendous respect for them, because these guys went to the bottom of the bottom, the low of the low, and are now back climbing the mountain. And I have just complete respect for people who are able to turn their life around. Hello from Toronto. We'll get right to the questions, and I'll mix up the news and the questions I have. Is Diddy, AB, living hell on earth right now? I would easily pick death over what he must be feeling. Regards, Sergio. AB, what is he going through right now at this MDC, Metropolitan Detention Center?
Let me say this. He going through, it's like a nightmare, because he wasn't looking for that to happen, you know. So right now it's a nightmare for him, especially when you never been to nothing like that, and you so used to your mansion, your people around you. It's hell.
Question here for Tommy. This has come up before. Keep the questions coming. This is your chance to speak to former inmates. From Rose, the inmates have internet access, Tommy, especially at the MDC. Are they able to watch YouTube? I kind of hope that Diddy is not watching this. What is the answer, Tommy?
No, and here's the thing. If he's got a cell phone in there, he's watching it. And this is a place, if you're going to have a cell phone in the feds, there's a pretty decent chance it's going to be at this particular prison. Like, this place is wide open. He very well may have a cell phone.
But that's contraband, correct,
that's
Tommy?
Contraband. Yeah,
okay.
That's contraband. That's the only way, though, that he'd be seeing this. But as crazy as it sounds, there are a lot of cell phones in prison. There's a bunch of them.
It's been.
Yeah. I mean, Tommy, where do you keep a cell phone? First of all, let's go through this. How would Diddy, these are the things I'm fascinated by. How would Diddy, he's obviously the new guy on the block, but everybody knows him. And we're going to get to his living conditions in a minute. But how would he get a cell phone? How much would it cost him? And where do you have to keep that cell phone so it doesn't get taken from you?
Well, okay, you know what? You want to do that? In the feds, if you get caught with a cell phone, you're looking at an escape charge, right? It's an escape tool, they call it, and they throw a little bit of time on you. But people keep it where you think they keep it. Those phones get chopped down until there's really not much. I mean, it used to be where there would be a screen and there would be, the rest of the outside of that phone used to be cut down to a motherboard, and dudes used to hoop that stuff. For real.
I'm just gonna translate that my own way when he said hoop that stuff, but yeah, that's interesting. Wow. Okay,
I
so
watched a guy get X-rayed going through Oklahoma City, which is the transfer center in the feds, right, where Con Air lands on this side of the country. On the East Coast, it lands usually near Atlanta.
Yeah.
As you come through, they X-ray every single person that comes off the plane, and there was a dude with a lot of stuff secreted in his backside.
Well, I don't want to get too graphic about this, but I got to ask a follow-up question. Does it go in like a little plastic bag first and then in there? Is that how it works?
Well, I mean, personally,
AB.
you could keep a cell phone. It depends how small it is. You know what I mean? Because like when I had a cell phone, and I'm not saying for them to go and start searching their stashes, but I used to keep a cell phone because you really can't tell if it's that tiny, right? You could keep it in a pair of socks. That's why I used to keep mine in a pair of socks. Where if they come and you keep it in your laundry, if they come and search your property, they not looking for a phone to be in socks. You know what I mean? You just put a couple pair of socks together because if they go through your clothes and put it all on the bed, they just gonna pat it. They not gonna squeeze it. So that's where I kept mine. You know what I mean? I can't see if you that thirsty and you that hungry to talk to somebody to carry a cell phone and make it be some chicken noodle soup. You definitely thirsty.
This is honestly, I've already learned more today than I think I've learned in my entire lifetime. From Touche here, Tommy, how do they get Wi-Fi in prison? That's a great question. Once they've got the cell phone, you need connectivity. I guess you can have cellular, mobile.
They already have that. That comes with it. Soon as you get it, you
got a burner number. Every month they're getting you a new number that you just enter into the phone. And there's nobody signing up for services like that. These are ready to roll, right? They just go through cellular.
Wow.
But in the feds, they have this little device that looks like it's got PVC pipe coming out of this little box, and they will walk up and down units with that thing. And if someone is using a phone, those things emit. So they catch people a lot in the feds, and they'll break you off. You're going to do time if they catch you with it, for real.
Most of the time they catch you with somebody jealous, and they start telling.
Yeah, no question.
Because there's no way, because you be really when you be on your phone. But the way it is these days, they don't care. They send in. You go to Instagram, you see the fights, you see them cooking, you see them gambling, you see them doing whatever they doing in there. It's like being on the street. You know what I mean? You just got to be, quick, fast, and slick.
Yeah. Well, AB, let me ask you something. So you were in for 30 years. So there were literally no cell phones when you went in. There was no flat screen TVs. Were you able to stay up with like technology? Like, did you know everything going on the outside, on the inside?
Well, basically, when I was there doing my time, when it came into the cell phones real hard, when Rayfus Evans messed the phone system up, then, it was minutes. Then the cell phones needed, because you really didn't have that much time to talk to your family, your friends, your kids. So the cell phones was definitely, it was like getting commissary. You had to have it, So I did have cell phone, but I stayed in contact because till the guy Rayfus Evans got on 60 Minutes and broke down secrets on the phones. It was like being on the phone was like, as long as you got money and you got people going to accept your calls, it was never a problem, staying in contact to the world.
This is so interesting to me. From Ellen, Mimi Mommy, to Tommy, Is Diddy better off being quiet? I love the questions. This is a show that we should have just a steady stream of questions, and I'll sprinkle in some of the news. But is Diddy better off being quiet and keeping to himself, or better off finding a friend? And I'm going to scroll to the bottom now, guys. So put your questions back in the chat. I'll be at the bottom of the chat.
He's in a very unusual situation, right? He's in the PC of the PC.
Yeah.
He's going to be friends with the people they drop on him because they got no other option. It's a very small car, the very famous protective custody car. It's him and a couple other people. So what would be better? Probably for him to keep his mouth shut. But I don't know that that's what he's going to do, especially pre-trial. Everybody wants to try their case talking to the person next to them, telling them stupid as hell, because there are guys in there taking notes. I'm not kidding. That's an epidemic too.
Wow. By the way, so Tom, what was I going to say? I just completely forgot what I was going to say, but I'm going to come back to AB because the family, Diddy's family, is speaking out now. That's some of the latest news. And I want to save that for AB. So, Tommy, we talked about this yesterday. He's in a car right now with Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto kid with the crazy afro, whose ex-partner is now sentenced too. Anyway, so he's in this car. Can you please just explain this again? I mean, does that mean he is freely walking around like a dormitory-style room, or is he just in a cell next to Sam Bankman? How does this all work?
So he's not in a car, he's in a pod, right? A car usually refers to, your people, what part of the country you're from, if it's in the feds, or what part of the city you're from, who you run with, that's your car. But he's in a pod with a couple of other guys. I've seen him two ways, like that dorm style stuff. I've seen a couple of ways. Sometimes it's just one big room with a commode and a sink and say 2 or 3 sets of bunk beds. Sometimes they got like a day room kind of a thing, and there are little rooms that go off of it, like a quad setup, where there are cells and then there's a day room in the middle. I'm not exactly sure how this one is set up because this is so far from mainline. I don't think too many people in there probably ever get a look at this. This is for people that they really got to keep segregated from the rest of the population.
But again, Tommy, and I asked you this yesterday, everyone in there knows that Diddy is in the house, correct? Are people,
make no mistake.
Yeah, and are people trying to get to him? Like, would people try to get in there somehow, and how would they do that?
Honestly, I don't know if anybody would be. I'm sure that there are people that would like to take a swing at the guy. I think more likely there are people that would like to see if they could get some cash off the guy. There's a lot of people in there are always thinking about their hustle. When you in the feds, a cell phone's about $1,500 to $2,000, right, to buy. So if you're trying to stay in contact with people on the street and do it real, where you could actually talk to them and not be listened to on every call, it's going to cost you a fortune, right? And there's a lot of other things in there. You kind of assume that you go to prison and all your needs are taken care of, and it really doesn't work that way. You kind of have to have a hustle, or you got to have some people that are supporting you, or you're going to get real thin. It's not a nice place to be without cash.
Larry LaVine, is the legend back? Are you back, Larry?
No, I'm not here. I'm somewhere else.
It's amazing. You're so clear, Larry.
Truth.
Yeah, Larry, you're so clear. I love it. So now we've got the full horsepower here with Larry. But first, I'm going to AB. Larry, we'll get to you in a second. Do the lawyers, AB, when they go in, we're talking about hiding cell phones in prison or jail here, or the MDC in this case. So the lawyers, AB, have to hand over their cell phones before they meet with their clients. How closely are the attorneys screened? This guy, Mark Agnafilio, is a very well-respected attorney. I hope he's not up to shenanigans. But do you see that where lawyers hand off cell phones, AB?
Oh, yeah, they definitely going to check it. It's a high-profile case. So, yeah, they definitely going to check them very well, scan them and everything, So, yes, they are checking their cell phones in because they don't want no mistakes.
The COE will get Larry's book cover up. Larry, now that we can hear you clearly, again, I have to give Larry this warning multiple times. No cursing, Larry, even though I love when you do, but we can't do it here. But the title of your book now that we can hear you clearly, and why you decided to write it.
Why I decided, the title is Liar's My Lawyer. No, Liars. Lies my lawyer told me. And I decided to write it because people get burned by the system. People don't understand. Let's say that somebody slams you, Joel, with an indictment, or you get a target letter saying, we believe you've committed a crime and you need to get a hold of the attorney and you need to call us. That lawyer comes from either the U.S. Attorney's Office, might come from the FBI or one of the other agencies. What do you do, Joel? Do you have any idea?
No.
No, well, nobody has any idea. I would know, AB would know, Tommy would know, because we've been through the system. But your business person, they don't have a clue. So now they got to go and hire a mouthpiece, a lawyer, pay them $50,000. The lawyer's going to BS them throughout the entire process, lie to them, mislead them, essentially all to bring it to a plea agreement. And really, you could get, in most cases, the same sentence with a public defender that you're going to get from a private lawyer. I mean, look at these guys shaking their heads. It's true. Joel, do you know what a lawyer's job is? You really know?
Just to defend their client, as far as I know.
A lawyer's job is to create billable hours. And that's it. The lawyer doesn't care either way if you go to court or not. Remember, the lawyer and the prosecutor, even the judge was a lawyer at one. Well, I guess he still is a lawyer. These people know each other socially. They golf together, drink together, screw the same women together. They know all this, okay? So they'll meet over lunch. They will. And they'll discuss the case and they'll laugh and such. I mean, in the courtroom, they act like they're enemies. They're really not. And the lawyer, he's going to tell you, well, if you take a plea agreement now, we can have this or we can have that. Oh, they're only going to give you straight probation. Tommy and AB, how many times have you heard that from people? My lawyer promised me probation. Well, guess what? You've got a 5-count indictment. You stole $500,000. You think you're going to get probation? I could look at an indictment in about 5 minutes, skim through it, read through it, look at the charges. And I know right away, this guy's not getting probation. He's looking at custody time. Well, the lawyer's not going to tell you that. The lawyer is going to want to file God knows how many meaningless motions that aren't going to go anywhere. And the lawyer fully knows this. But remember, the lawyer is creating billable hours. That's the whole name of the game, billable hours. So what I do is I walk you through the criminal justice system. From the time they kick your door in or they arrest you, through pretrial motions, plea agreements, probation reports, sentencing, designation, and it's like 22 chapters now. I got 3 chapters to go, and I just break it all down. In every chapter at the end, it's what the lawyers will tell you as far as lies for that subject matter. Does this all make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. And there's the cover right there, Lies My Lawyer Told Me by Larry J. LaVine. So keep a lookout. We'll do a show with Larry once the book is out.
I see Tommy laughing. Tommy, did you like that cover?
Yeah, you know why I'm laughing? Because I was thinking to myself, you're going to get a 1.5 years for RDAP, so you can take that off.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got caught. Hey, I got caught taking women across state lines, sexually abusing them and filming them. No, don't worry about it. You're going to go to a camp.
Yeah, we'll get you paper.
Yeah. So Tommy, from McRamble on here, have you heard, I have no idea what this is, of what Suge Knight, and by the way, we're trying to get him on the podcast. If anyone can do it, Steve Cohen can. He's been doing some media. How? I have no idea, because he's in prison. But have you heard of what Suge Knight refers to as raw boiled egg test, aka men's casting couch, in the entertainment industry? I see AB smiling. First Tommy, then AB.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know how this is a test where they're going to insert that egg somewhere that like what we were talking about, taking things to the hoop earlier.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to test out that with an egg, and if the egg breaks or the egg doesn't break, this is going to determine whether or not they got to go back out there and put more work in. I believe was the phrase that Suge Knight might have used on that call.
Wow.
A little creepy.
Tommy, how does Suge Knight do endless interviews from prison? Does he run that place? Is he actually the warden?
He's got 300 minutes, right? So that is kind of odd.
500
now?
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
they bumped it up to 500.
Wait,
Those
what
guys
does that
are
mean?
living
500
large.
minutes. What does that mean? Translate that for me. What do you mean?
You
Yes,
got
500?
you have a block of time that you can use over the course of 30 days. So you couldn't get up in the morning and get on the phone and talk to your significant other 8 hours a day. There are state facilities that you can do that in. I was in one once, but you not in the federal system. You get an allotted amount of hours. And when I was in there, it was 300, and I bet it was 300 when Larry was in there too. But apparently they're up to 500.
By the way,
Tommy,
how do they charge the phone? I'm coming to you, AB. How do they charge the phone?
Your people pay for it.
People
the
pay
people on the
for it?
street pay for it, or you have money on your books and you pay. But
good question.
every call in the feds, every call is you have to pay for every.
By the way, this is hilarious in a sick, twisted way. So I hope no one comes yelling at me. But Costco is literally coming out denying that they've been selling baby oil because Mark Agnifilio, Diddy's attorney, said the reason he had 1,000 bottles of baby oil was that he lived, I think, between two Costcos. And so he was able to go to Costco. And this is a legitimate comment, I guess, from Costco. Otherwise, the COE wouldn't put it up. That's where we are. That's where we're at right now. AB, let me ask you, let's take a half step back. You know some of these people, including Diddy. When you heard this news break, was it a surprise to you? Was this an open secret? Were you upset? What was your mind frame?
I'm gonna say this because I know a lot of people that used to be at puff parties and stuff like that, and I always say, me personally, I never seen nothing like that. You know what I mean? It never happened to me, and I was never in the room, so I can't be like some of these people that just want that attention and say, "Oh, I seen this, I seen him do this, I see him do that." Me personally, I never seen him do none of that. You know what I mean? So I can't really co-sign what he did because you got to remember, even in the penitentiary, behind closed doors, everybody is their own man. So everybody that was a part of something, they know what it is. You know what I mean? So I can't be one of the co-signers and say, "Oh yeah, he did this, he did that." You know what I mean? Because every time he see me, it's nothing but respect.
Interesting perspective from someone that knows Diddy. So you're hearing an other side of the story. I promise you, this will be the best show you see all week. The best guests. And Larry even put a sweet little green screen backdrop up. But from Netto Ceramics here, I got people calling me here. Since you can easily find drugs in prison, Larry, this just remind me of something we were talking about. Can he at some point get his hands on the right drugs to unalive himself? But Larry, I don't know if you're willing to share it here. People have asked you, is he going to be quote unquote Epstein? And you have a theory about this. And you have a theory of what could happen. Are you willing to share it?
I am willing to share it. Matter of fact, all these things you're reading everywhere, it all originated from me, and I have a source inside MDC, but my source at MDC didn't tell me this. If you remember back when Epstein checked out, 3 days after he got arrested, I put right on my Facebook page, he knows too much about too many people. He'll never get out of there alive. And then they're going to call it a suicide. And if you don't believe that, you don't know how things really work in America. Matter of fact, Martha McCallum on Fox News, she had my Facebook page on air prime time and asked me, "Well, how do you know this?" Because I know, and I was right on the money. So let's break this down. We cannot suicide Puffy. We can't do it. It's going to look too obvious. Now, Tommy and AB, they'll get this because they know what goes on. Let's just say one of these correctional workers that gets paid, I don't know, $30 an hour, whatever, some kind of BS wage salary. Somebody on the outside, somebody with a lot of money, somebody in the entertainment industry or who knows, pays off one of these correctional workers. And this happens. And they just happen to sprinkle something in P. Daddy's food. They give him a little of this in his food every day over the next 2-3 weeks. And all of a sudden, P. Daddy's blood pressure shoots up and he has a heart attack and he mysteriously dies. So is that suicide? No, they killed him. Would you be able to prove it? No. And that is what I believe will happen. There are people that do not want him to talk, and it's easy enough to kill some. This is what I would do. I used to be, a lot of people don't know this. I used to be a military intelligence officer long before I went to prison. And I would figure out complex scenarios to do things, change the outcomes of things. Reason why I went to prison, essentially, or before, I was a troubleshooter for organized crime. And they would bring crime to me. I made crime better, more bang for the buck. I was like an efficiency expert for the mob. So I can think through these complex issues. Okay, well, our mission is to take Diddy out. What's his vulnerability? Well, gee, he's eating food every day. He's got a routine. We can't get somebody in there with a shank. We can't just have a cop do it. You can bet they're watching this guy. Okay, easiest thing. Let's slip something in his food. They'll turn him off like a light switch. That's what I think they're going to do. And I believe every time I say this, the BOP thinks I'm a real a-hole, but they're all corrupt. Tommy, AB, are the BOP workers corrupt? Watch this.
Oh yeah, definitely. And sometimes you gotta look at it. You say they watching them. They really not watching them. If they can make it happen, it's gonna happen. But they're gonna clean it up. You know what I mean? They the best cleanup crew.
I mean,
I think this is a possibility.
I'm sorry, Tommy. They can only do so much. Okay. You guys have probably done some shoe time or know people that have. I've done shoe time.
I did a lot of it.
Okay. Do you remember those pictures of Jeff Epstein's cell that they published afterwards? You see there was about 10 jumpsuits in there and all kinds of trash in there. When you go leave the shoe, because they sent them to the cuckoo house, the psych ward, they clean your cell out. They move everything out of there. When you come back into the cell, it's sterile. Now, the guy had only been back in the cell, for a day or something before he mysteriously died. He had enough garbage in his cell that looked like he had been living in there for months. And they would not let you accumulate that much stuff, would they, Tommy?
No. You don't let you accumulate any of that stuff.
No.
That's what freaked me out about those pictures. You would have one set of sheets, like all of the crap he had in there, and he was on the watch. They said he was on observation.
Too. Yeah, all the jumpsuits. It's all a hoax. You know what?
He should have had another
plan. That crime should be shot. Seriously. They should have called me if they wanted to do it. I could have planned that crime a little better. This is all a hoax. It is.
AB, again, you're very tied into the hip hop community. You said that you never saw this and for those who missed it, AB showed us a picture he has of Diddy when he was a paper boy up in Mount Vernon, New York. But AB, what has the reaction been in the hip hop world? Your friends and their friends, are people blown away by this? Were they expecting it? Are they nervous that they could be outed? What's the general feeling out there?
Well, right now the industry is quiet. You know what I mean? People just talking about it and, saying, wow. But it's like, you got to remember, if you ever did anything, you got to be sitting there. It's like you being inside jail and you stab somebody and you was there. You got to sit there and worry about, is the SIS coming to grab you next? So it's like, basically, you know what I mean? It's like people just sitting there saying, what's next? And it's like, shout out to Red Alert. Red Alert said the best thing in the world. Sit back and watch the show because the show is getting ready to come.
Those are profound words, obviously, with a lot of meaning right now. Right now, Tommy from La Mesa, my friend up in Toronto, right now, all Combs is seeing is solitary and his lawyer and being woken up every 3 hours for safety and withdrawal symptoms. Long time coming. Tommy, I asked you this the other day, but what is, if he is truly addicted to multiple drugs potentially, how long does this withdrawal last? Is it potentially deadly? What kind of misery is he in?
It depends on what he's withdrawing off of. If it's a benzodiazepine, right, or if he had a bad enough alcohol problem, those kind of withdrawals can kill you. From opiates, no, he's not in any danger of dying. He might think he's gonna, right? It's gonna make him miserable. The idea of having to wake him up every 3 hours, I promise you, if he's kicking a really good opiate habit, it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks before you got to worry about waking this cat up, because sleeping isn't going to happen. It's just not. I mean, you really struggle through when you're kicking dog food, or if you're doing any of the opiates, any of the heavy hitting opiates.
Hold on. What does that? What does that mean? Kicking dog food. I want a shirt that says that. Huh? H.
Yeah, H. I'm just not trying to demonetize you.
Yeah.
But the heavy opiate that ends up on the street killing people prior to the new one that we've got now, which is killing everybody. And that, if I may, is if I were going to take him out, I would just get him some dope, because the guy would absolutely do anything you handed in there, right? I mean, he's a dope fiend going through withdrawal. But if you gave that guy a little fent,
that would show up in a toxicology report. Remember that. Now we fingered a guard. If somebody mysteriously dies, say, well, they had high blood pressure, they were numb, they checked out. Okay, people die in prisons all the time. They do.
No question.
And I don't see them coming by, waking him up every 3 hours. Remember, I mean, you guys have been through this. He's not in a conventional cell like you see on TV. This isn't a Barney Fife kind of thing on Mayberry, where there's bars and such. He's in a room. He's in a cell, but it's like a steel door, and it has like a little slot on it. They open up the little hatch, and they bring his food into him. I mean, maybe they open his door.
Yeah. Hey, Larry. So let me ask. So you said you got a source inside of MD. And all right. So tell me, give the audience a visual. They call radio the audio imaginarium. There's a host on radio who calls it the audio imaginarium. Take us through, give us a visual, if you will, through words of what MDC is like. What does it smell like? What does it look like? Okay. What does it feel like?
First of all, I spent 2 years at MDC Los Angeles. It's extremely similar. I did some shoe time in there because I had an altercation with another inmate. It actually... The building is, well, when I was there, it was sterile because they had inmates buffing floors, cleaning. I mean, it's like it was a constant sanitation issue. But then there's like mold in the food. The food is old. The showers are grungy. I went to MDC first in 98. I was there till 2000. I, to this day, have fungus under my toenails that I picked up. I know it's kind of gross. That I picked up at MDC LA, and I can't get rid of it. And they say that he wakes up at 6 a.m. and he has to mop his cell out and make his bed. I mean, ask my counterparts on here. Somebody who's doing shoe time that's in their cell all day long. Do you really think that he's getting up and making his bed and standing up for inspection? No, wait, there's just so much BS that's coming out of the news media. You hear that he's in there with Sam Bankman-Fried. You know who he is, the crypto guy?
Mm-hmm.
You look on the BOP. You look on the BOP website. It says that he's there at MDC also. Okay. So what, are they both in the shoe? I would say that Bankman-Fried, he's not really that kind of threat. So he may be in general population. He may be in a regular housing unit. Unlike P. Daddy, who's sitting like they tucked him away in a cell, sort of. So, go ahead. I hate to cut you off.
No, you didn't cut me off. You said P. Daddy, and you said it twice, which is funny because it's P. Diddy. But I like that you say that.
You know, Larry, I've been calling him on media P. Daddy because I think it sounds better. Puff Daddy.
Anyway, you're the only one. You're one who knows less about hip hop than me. Go ahead, Larry. Then we're getting to AB.
So it's like a lonely existence for him. Imagine if your wife got pissed at you and said, you know what, I'm going to put you in the bathroom. I'm going to lock that door. And I want you to spend the next 3 years in there. And I'm going to slip you food under the door. Oh, and by the way, all you've got to read is a Bible. We're going to give you some old magazines. Food's going to be cold when you get it. And you get to make one phone call, I don't know, every couple days. I mean, he's got 500 minutes a month. He should. Oh. But does that mean that he's going to be able to use the phone every day like a regular inmate?
Not if he's in the shoe.
Nope. Okay, let me ask I hate to take over your show, but I'm going to ask AB this because he's done a lot more shoe time than I have. AB, how?
Go ahead, Larry.
Showers. Okay. when you're in the shoe, how many showers do you get a week and for how long?
Let me say this. It depends how you move in there. You got to remember, he's a celebrity. So even though they watching him that hard, he going to get a little more perks than anybody else. You got to remember that. So it's like, you might get 3 showers a week. You know what I mean? So it's like, it depends because you got to remember, COs is humans. COs is groupies. So at the end of the day, he's P. Diddy. So he can definitely make some moves and get little press more than somebody else.
You're right, 100% right. Now imagine the guy on the cell who's in the shoe to the right, and imagine the guy on the left in the cell, also in the shoe. They see Diddy because they could look out the little window. Well, Diddy's gone off to the shower again. Pretty soon you've got a disturbance going on inside that institution because people are going to be jealous and they're going to claim that Diddy got extra attention. Diddy got extra privileges. These people may have a hunger strike. Cops open the door. They may slug the cops. Maybe they don't want to go back in their cell. So in a real world, Diddy should get out 3 times a week, maybe. But AB is right. Maybe they are giving him some type of special privilege. It's highly possible.
Yeah, AB, look at this comment from Debbie Lanier. Do these gentlemen, you, AB, since you know him, think that Diddy truly believes he's going to walk like he always has in the past? Do you think in his mind he thinks he's going to get set free at some point?
I'm going to say this right now, the way social media and press is going on, every time you turn around, it's Diddy, 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 Diddy. So at the end of the day, that video really put a jagged in his heart. So me personally, it's like he's already convicted in the world. You know what I mean? Because every time you turn your phone on, it's Diddy, 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 Diddy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like they already convict him. So, it's just that because they say on TV, he facing life. So already they telling you they going to burn you. The way they came and got you and didn't give you bond, that tell you off top that, listen, that probably was your last days that you've seen on them streets right now.
Yep.
AB, after spending all that time, 30 years behind bars, what is it like now to be a free man, to be able to go to Times Square, to be able to go to a party, to be able to go to dinner? What's it like for you in the world now?
Well, for me, listen, I enjoy my freedom, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I don't have to be around a bunch of guys that you sit there and sell that everybody in jail is Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. They had the world. They had all the females in the world. They had this, but can't get a visit, can't get no mail. And it's crazy. So it get boring being around a bunch of dudes that everybody's important. It's just like the world it is we live in now. Everybody's a social media star.
Yeah. Diddy, AB, this is an important question, and I don't want to, spark any rumor mill here, but people are asking, do you think the mayor of New York City has anything to do with Diddy? Obviously, he was just indicted. There's fraud charges. There's nothing that says he was part of this, part of freak offs, but I'm sure he knew Diddy, and they, crossed paths. But do you think there's any connection with the mayor and Diddy? And who knows, the mayor could end up at MDC. We just don't know right now.
Well, me personally, I'm going to say this. To me, not being racial or anything, it's like it's an attack on the black man world right now. Because at the end of the day, it's like, of course not. He ain't got nothing to do with Diddy. It don't matter, if you go, that's just like me coming to your party and something go wrong. You know what I mean? You can't just put everybody in the class of what Diddy doing, whatever. It's like everybody got their term. You know what I mean? I guess it's the government is on they on their rag right now. You know what I mean? I don't know what they doing, but they not stopping. They coming to get everybody I guess they want.
Yeah. Tommy, there's a question here. I want to leave this comment up, but from Nancy, why is Diddy, and I, to be honest, don't remember this exactly, but why is he wearing a gold chain in his mugshot? Don't they take jewelry away? I did not know that he was wearing a gold chain. Was he wearing a gold chain, and why would he be?
Well, when you get when I got arrested the first time by the feds, I didn't go to a county jail. I didn't get, the first place they took me was to a building that looked like an office building, which actually said Wells Fargo on the side of it, which scared the hell out of me. I was like, what are you turning me over to Wells Fargo? I had robbed a few of those. But we entered into this building. We got in an elevator. We went up 3 floors. They hit a little keypad, and I was in what looked like an office and against the wall wearing exactly what I got busted with. So if I had been pimping a gold chain that day, I would have had it in my first booking photo with the feds. But that's the last of that.
Tommy, what's it like to rob a bank? Is your adrenaline kicking? Are you scared? Are you excited? What is the emotion going into a Wells Fargo and holding it up?
Yeah, there's a decent amount of adrenaline. I was a guy that was doing a lot of dope. I was really strung out, and for me, the desperation. I was more scared of not getting enough dope to keep me well than I was of getting shot in the bank. So probably really stupid to hear that out loud, but that's where my head was at the time. So I used to get really more freaked out about what was going to happen if I got caught. I wasn't worried about getting shot, but having to kick in prison was a terrifying proposition.
Maybe COE, maybe you can load in 1 or 2 of those Bieber clips from yesterday, because I'd like to get AB, Larry, and Tommy's reaction to it. But S Real here says he's going to be approached by feds inside and he won't even know it. Larry, is that true? Is he going to have feds?
I mean, every prison has informants. They got rats. They have people in there that are federal agents that are posing as inmates to try to cozy up to you, become your friend, ask you questions, and get information. But again, this guy's in the shoe. He's not in general population. What are you going to think? They're going to take some schmuck off the street and just throw him in a cell with him and say, hey, can you tell me about your crimes and what you did and where you did it and who you did it with? Now, if he was in general population, that could happen. But where he is at, I don't see that ever happening at all. And I want to drift back a little bit. The mayor would probably get bond. Remember that Adam's stuff, it's all white collar crimes. So they're not going to put him in the shoe at MDC. And Diddy, he's got multiple charges. So they say he's going to do life. I don't see him getting a life sentence.
Me neither.
But by the time you stack all those charges against each other and they run them consecutive, theoretically, he will be doing a life sentence.
How many years, Larry? How many years?
Yeah, I couldn't even, but I'm saying maybe 20 years. Because remember, some of that stuff's going to be consecutive. But there's other issues to concern that, you should be concerned about, or he should, not you or I, that he's got charges or potential charges and victims in LA and in Miami. Okay. So he needs to be charged there. Do you really think that the federal attorney, the U.S. attorney in LA is going to want to give up the Diddy case? He's going to want to charge him himself to get that notoriety. So I think it's going to take maybe 3 years, maybe more, because he's going to trial. And you guys know how long it takes when you're going to trial. Imagine in Diddy's case, what do you got? 17 victims, maybe more. They're going to want to bring in all kinds of people to testify. So let's say he's in New York for 3 years. Gee, now we're going to LA. We're taking a field trip on Con Air. Okay, let's catch your next flight. It's not like you saw in the movie. You're like on a white. You guys flown Con Air either? Okay. You're like on a white 707 they confiscated from United Airlines in the 70s or 80s for drug trafficking. There's no stewardesses. It's like
Yeah.
U.S. Marshals milling around, and you're all chained up, and you're trying to eat with your arms chained.
By the way, Larry, it's flight attendant. You can't say the other
Yeah,
word
well, I
anymore.
can say anything.
It's
Anyway.
it's now a 737 that used to be an
Oh, okay, they've
Alaska Airlines
upgraded.
plane. They've upgraded.
They've stole
Yeah.
planes from someone else. Anyway,
No longer duct tape on it.
I was on a Conair flight that lasted about 8 hours. I was chained up next to a serial killer for 3 hours. Guy seemed as normal as you or I, but you're going to meet all kinds of people on these flights. So he jets over to LA. They take him to MDC Los Angeles. Gee, he'll say, this looks like I was where I was just at. They run him through the ringer there. Okay, well, we're going to spend another couple years here in LA. Hey, now it's time. You know what? It's summertime. Let's fly down to Miami. Well, we've got in Miami, we've got an FDC there, a federal detention center. So now he's in another detention center. So by the time he's all said and done with all his judicial proceedings, he could theoretically have 7 or 8 years in the system. Good thing for him. He's not on dead time. Dead time means that you're there and it don't count for anything. He's getting day for day right now. He's getting some good time. But right now in the federal system, because, I run Wall Street Prison Consultants, I'm dealing with people going into custody. You've got programs they didn't have when AB and Tommy or I were in, where they've got the First Step Act. They've got the Second Chance Act. They've always had RDAP, the drug program. They're giving compassionate release. So somebody getting an 8-year sentence, you may be out in 4 years, something like that.
Yeah.
You're not doing, and in good time, let's not forget about good time, community custody time. You're in a halfway house. So an 8-year sentence really doesn't mean 8 years of custody time. But if you have sexual exploitation charges, you've got arson charges, you've got possibly kidnapping, I've heard, they can tie it into that. You're not going to be eligible for anything other than good time, nothing at all. So he's going to get good time, and that's about it. He's got no hope as far as that goes. He's not going to see a club fed. They're not really club feds, the camps, but he's not going to see a minimum security camp. This guy is going to see a cell for the rest of his life.
Wow.
In
AB
Tucson or in Florida or in
one of them.
Wow. Diddy was AB. It says here, Diddy was an informant for the feds. He's going to be Epstein. Clive Davis is next. He has to go down. Do you agree with this? Let's start there, and I'll ask you about my second question next.
I don't know. He was working for the feds. I can't say that. You know what I mean? Because he was never locked up with me, and he never did a crime around me. So I never seen him get charged for nothing. Just the case with the gun stuff. But he might have a couple of dudes was around and worked for the feds, but I can't say he worked for the feds. I'm not sure. You never know.
Yeah. La Mesa here again. Eric Adams, the mayor who was just indicted in New York City, first mayor ever to be indicted in New York City, gave Diddy the key to the city a year ago. Probably regrets that now. Safe to say they know each other. Eric Adams used to be a cop there as well. It's funny. I just found out a good friend of mine's brother was Eric Adams' boss. He was a captain in the NYPD. So it's a small world out there. AB, the other thing, do you expect other big names? Someone just mentioned a J-Lo tape. Are we going to see these big celebrities get taken down with Diddy here?
Well, you got to remember, the feds are so dirty, you don't never know what they're going to do. That's plain and simple. I'm not going to say they're going to do this, they're going to do that. They don't play fair. You understand? So if you ever take time out to do anything and it's federal, believe me, they the dirtiest in the world. You know what I mean? It don't matter what kind of game they play. They don't play fair. It ain't like you playing baseball with another team and kids. The feds they're going to say you got to be 10 to 15. They're going to bring 30 and better. You know what I mean? So they do not play fair. So you can't look at the feds like they normal, because they sit back, they got enough money to wait and burn you out.
They play a game called relevant conduct. You guys know what that is.
Yeah.
Explain, Larry.
Relevant conduct means, well, we didn't charge you with that, but we believe that you were involved with that. And under the preponderance of evidence rule, we're going to enhance you at sentencing for something you weren't even charged with.
Yeah.
So they tie Diddy into all these other crimes that were our potential crimes. I'm not convicting the guy. They tie him into all these other potential crimes. Then when sentencing comes around, they enhance him. He gets an enhancement. So they, as AB says, they don't play fair. Imagine if you were playing baseball and all of a sudden in the middle of the game, they rewrote the rules. And you go, well, what happened here? Well, we've decided to do this. We've decided to do that. Oh, we're going to give you a superseding indictment. We know we've charged you with all this, but we've decided that we're going to charge you with more. Hey, let's drop these charges in the middle of the indictment, and we're going to charge you with something else. So you need to be on your game when you're dealing with them. I mean, seriously, you're going to.
Hey, Larry, how come Diddy did not? He had all the means, a private jet. Why didn't he take off? Is it hubris? Like, what is it?
Okay, he is well known throughout the world. He would have had a huge reward on him. Where would he hide? It's like you can't hide the guy. If Donald Trump decided to leave wherever the hell he's at and decided to run because he's going to be sentenced, where would he hide? I mean, nowadays they could track your voice on a cell phone through a satellite, the NSA. You can't really hide. And the reason why, where was I? I forget. I think I was on Entertainment Tonight talking about this just recently. Why did they pop him ahead of time? Because remember, he could have turned himself in the next day, possibly. It's because they wanted him in their system. They wanted him off the street because there's a potential. There was a potential that he could have fled. And remember that a lot of this is headlines and theatrics. It is. So now all of a sudden, wow, what kind of headlines would you have had, and what kind of media attention would these prosecutors get? Okay, well, we sent some FBI agents out and we picked Mr. Coombs up at his house and we took him into custody. Or, just really low key. Or, well, we asked him to come into the office and we booked him and we took his picture. They need to build all this up. They need to build the momentum up. They need to keep the whole thing going. This is what I'm saying. My book, Lies My Lawyer Told Me. The whole system is a hoax. It's all planned. They could have went after Diddy, a year ago? They had enough evidence on him. People have been running their mouths about him. There's things going on in his case that you and I, none of us on this panel will ever know. The feds have gathered so much information on people, and they're just chipping away, waiting for the next brick to fall. I mean, they've got the guy. Just imagine the people right now that are dumping in their pants. See, I didn't swear. That are dumping in their pants, just waiting for that indictment to come, just waiting for that knock on the door where it's the FBI kicking your hinges off the door.
Larry, I could give you a kiss on that bald head of yours. You're behaving very well today. No cursing. I told Larry, he goes on Ashley Banfield. He never curses. On my show, he drops so many F-bombs. He's doing a fantastic job today. From Joyce Kirby here to Tommy. Can you gentlemen clarify if the commissary dinners are available in the shoe, Tommy? Keep hearing conflicting information. Old Bologna sandwich versus the steak dinner. Who knew you could get steak in the commissary? But Tommy, what is the bottom line answer here?
So where I did my time is really far removed from MDC Brooklyn. So, but what I can tell you is in the federal holdup that I was in, they had a short order cook that you could order from once a day. And that as long as you had cash on the books, you could order one, and people double up. They order two, a pizza and a burger, and they eat one of them for dinner, eat one at lunch. They used to bring this at lunchtime. So that was an option in the place I was at if you had cash, right, on the books.
Hold on. Was that a contract facility or was that a federal facility?
I was in a county jail that they were paying to keep federal inmates in.
Okay, that's the thing. You were in a marshal's contract jail. That does happen there because they don't have like a full kitchen staff there. So let's look at MDC. I was there. I mean, sure, AB was at one of those places. DC. Somebody's sitting up in the shoe. Okay, they're upstairs. Do you honestly think that they're going to give them a steak dinner through the door? I looked at the commissary list because this was a question that's come up on other appearances I've done. It's not what you're thinking. It's not a steak. It's like a bag where you can go to the commissary. Now they have the food in the bags. Mm-hmm. And some of the institutions have microwave ovens where you can pour this stuff into a plastic Tupperware bowl and heat it up. There's no waiter or waitress. Am I saying that wrong, or is it the food attendant?
No,
there's no one bringing the food to the cell like that. They're shoving a plastic tray through the door. You're lucky if they've heated the food up because people in the shoe eat last. So that commissary list, you could look at it. Go to BOP.gov, BureauofPrisons.gov. Mm-hmm. Click on institutions or locations. This big list will drop. You'll see all the federal prisons on there. So find MDC Brooklyn, and then it's going to say, scroll down the page, and it will say commissary list. So click on that, and you can see all the food, all the stuff, the hygiene, the crackers, the Snickers bars, and all this.
All the junk.
But
Zuzus and Wham-Whams.
You're in the shoe. AB, you're sitting in the shoe. Do you get to order everything off that commissary list?
Nah, I don't think they give you a certain amount what you could order. I don't, like I say,
it's abbreviated. Yeah, it's a small list for the shoe. Yeah, it's not all that stuff.
Nah, it ain't all that because you can't store it. You ain't got a lock in there.
Yeah. How you gonna heat it up? You don't have a microwave oven. Yeah. You don't have one of those hot water things.
But you got
to get one meat. You could get one meat chub. You could get 2 Snicker bars. Right. When I was in there, that
pack of cookies or something
there was an option for cookies. There was an option for a bag of chips, but it capped at $25. And the only thing that didn't count on that was electronics. And the only thing you could buy is a radio. So you can buy a radio and batteries. That doesn't come off you $25 a week. So $25 worth of food
purchase. Yeah, you're only going to buy it once.
I would have a major sugar withdrawal in prison. I'm addicted to sugar. Tommy, when you would get a Snickers bar, would you wolf that thing down, or you take like little nibbles and save it for a week?
I'd crush it. I'd crush that thing. And fast.
That's awesome.
Zuzus and Wham-Whams were my get down was always the sugar part of it. Everybody usually goes one way or another. I was heavy on the Zuzus and Wham-Whams.
I'm getting the little donuts, the Hostess donuts in the package.
By the way, Tommy Scoville, I don't want to embarrass
you. Halls. Prison.
Tommy Scoville in this chat, there's so much talk about the sexiness that is Tommy Scoville that STS singles might have to come back. Don't worry, Larry. There's a couple people saying you're sexy too. And AB, you look like you're 29. It's crazy that you spent 30 years behind bars. It is crazy that you look as young as you do. So, AB, one of the other pieces of news today is now Sean Diddy Combs' children have broken their silence on Instagram, of course. They're saying that these are all hurtful and false rumors. They're talking about their late mother, Kim Porter, who has written a tell-all book about her relationship with Diddy. And the quote goes on to say, "We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out." This is from 33-year-old Quincy Brown. Kim Porter died from something known as lobar pneumonia in 2018. People think it's suspicious. I don't know if you know Diddy's kids, AB.
Yeah, I
But
know.
if they're
I,
victims here, you got to feel for them, right?
yeah, me personally, I feel sorry for them because you lost the mother and now you're going to lose the father. You know what I mean? At least, let me say this, at least Quincy still have his father. His father's out, be sure. So, you know what I mean? So, it's sad for the twins and little King Cone, you know what I mean? Because they lost their mother, but it's a hurt feeling because I know plenty of people that lost their mother. Like, rest in peace to my cousin, Chris Lighty from Violator, you know what I mean? His kids, one of his daughter lost the mother and the father, you know what I mean? So it's hurtful that they got to watch this and they older now to understand what's going on. I just seen the kids the other day in Mount Vernon at this fair, so it's sad, it's nothing you could say, it's nothing you could feel if you never been through it, and it's rough on them, you know what I mean? Because they can't duck it because it's all on social media and it's on TV. Every time you turn around, it's gonna pop up. It's the timeline.
Mm. Hey, Tommy, do you know about this? Diddy wrote a book that's been removed, and you can't really find it anywhere, called the Adrenochrome Witch. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. All about elite secret parties. Have you heard about this?
I have not. I
You have
don't have
not.
any. Nope, I haven't heard
Yeah.
anything about that.
But I do know that you're so interested in this that you read at least parts of Kim Porter's book. By the way, it's called Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. In there is some pretty serious allegations, obviously, that Diddy assaulted her. What was your takeaway from that book?
It's sensational, right? But the truth of the matter is, it's pretty sketchy with how it came out. It's the number one selling book on Amazon, but we don't know at all if Kim Porter wrote it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a bit distressing because at this point, there's a jury pool that has an access to it, and it's the number one selling book in America. I think there's enough evidence against Diddy without a supposed Kim Porter book, but books like this, that's got to be really hard on her family, right?
Yeah.
If it's not mom's words and this is just, people making a buck, then that's got to be hard. And I'm not saying it is. I've got no idea. If it's true, it's horrifying.
It's horrifying. You got a lot of people out here that, been around Puff, been around Kim, and it's the moment of people so greedy, you know what I mean? And that's when you realize, you find out, you got to be careful in this world we live in that we call people our friends, our people, because something happened and people turn around and start flipping just for a check because they didn't get it when she was here. He didn't give it to them. So you got to always be careful who you bring around you because everybody's not loyal. Everybody's thirsty. So everybody want to be famous. And if they could get a moment and say, great example, if I was thirsty, I could sit here and beat Puff in the head and say, oh, Puff did this, I know he did this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that guy. Because when I was in jail and when I called on him to do this big show I had in jail, it was nothing but love. You know what I mean? So for me to bash him, I can't do it. You know what I mean? It's not in me because I'm not a thirsty guy just for fame and say, oh, I did this. I know this about him. I know that. You know what I mean? I can be that guy. But I don't feel that's not me.
And that is noble. And trust me, AB knows a lot more about Diddy than he's going to share here. And I respect that. The children are the ones who suffer the sins of the father. Look at this, AB. Money earning Mount Vernon in
Yes,
the
sir.
house. ASAP Lizzie. I love that. Money
I
earning
love
Mount
ASAP
Vernon.
Lizzy.
Tommy, do we know anything about this? I'm going to play one clip afterwards, and then we'll slowly begin to wrap this up. Is it true that Jay-Z, if few people have asked this, by the way, is this the Larry show? It's always a Larry show when Larry's here. Is it true that Jay-Z hired a criminal defense attorney, Tommy Scoville?
I don't know the answer to that, but I would be absolutely shocked if he didn't. I mean,
Exactly.
with all of the crap that's being said about him, if he didn't have a team of people working just in case, I'd be really surprised.
Crazy.
Probably PR firm and a lot of other. I mean, he's the next great rumor, right? So
Yeah.
true or not, there's a lot of people talking about him, and there's a lot of smoke, man.
That's a good title for a song. The next great rumor. Lisa Trimble. Tommy addressed this earlier on. I think. Do you think if Diddy testifies, it will mess him up like Murdoch? Tom, you want to just rehash? I mean, you don't think that, or do you think testifying is a good idea?
I think that Murdoch was, that dude did a lot. He's got a drug problem. There are cameras inside showing that guy partying. Like, he's already acting the fool. That he's a really, really odd cat. But I think Diddy has to take the stand. I really do, because I don't think he's going to have to swing a couple of people on that jury. But taking the stand is terrifying. Like, I've never done it. Because everything you really open yourself up, right? It's like, all right, go ahead, man. Have fun. Ask me anything you want. And God help us. If he does get on the stand, it's going to take, a long time to ask him all the questions they got for Diddy.
Well, they already got him convicted. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
The media don't.
Yeah.
It's like, it's sad that they don't give a person time to go to juries, no matter who he picked. At the end of the day, before they get on that on that box, them 12 people, they already seen everything on social media. So
they saw him beat Cassie.
You definitely gonna find somebody that got to be under a rock to be the 12 jurors that never paid Puff no attention. Don't know nothing
AB's
about
right.
it.
Where are you gonna find somebody that doesn't know about this case?
Yeah.
That's right.
Dixie Doodles here. Tommy, do you know about this since you've been staying up on the latest news? Steve Harvey, the comedian, has apparently fled the country. Few people have been saying that. Do we know if that is true or not?
I tried chasing this down last night, and he's not in the country, but that doesn't necessarily mean, he could be on vacation. I think everybody and their brother is looking
out the country.
It's like AB was saying, if we start chasing down who went to a Diddy party, nobody famous didn't go to a Diddy party.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like when he was really doing this, everybody at one time or another, even if it was just like his birthday party, there was not an A-lister on earth that didn't show up at his birthday party.
Yeah.
So they're going to be able to tie a bunch of people to him, but that doesn't mean they were all in the back with the freak offs and the rest of it.
Yeah. AB, I'm sure you saw this, the now infamous 2016 video of Diddy kind of beating on Cassie Ventura, his then girlfriend. This person, Nat from Canada, wants to get your take on that. Before you answer that, we are thinking about everyone on the west coast of Florida. This is going to be a nasty hurricane. It's going straight to Tallahassee. Ironically, we were supposed to be there for Donna Adelson's trial right now, which would have been at least postponed for her murder trial. But I've talked to Tim Jansen. He's keeping himself safe. We're thinking of all you guys. But AB, back to the video of Cassie Ventura. Just your take on that.
Man, that it's so crazy. People don't realize these days it's cameras in everywhere you go. It don't matter. It's cameras. Big Bro is watching at all times. And I had another good friend that I know his mother, and I know the girl mother, Ray Rice. I know his mother, and I know his wife's mother. But that situation was a sad situation. And and this is why I say...
Yeah. By the way, Ray Rice is a football player who went to Rutgers, which is where I grew up, who then beat up, I think his wife or girlfriend in an elevator.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But like I say about the feds, and people greedy about money and want to get famous and an opportunity. Everybody got an ace in a hole. Trust me. So when that came out, it just put the icing on the cake where they looked at him totally different. When people always say, why all his friends is not saying nothing? Because what can they say when it's black and white? And when you got video of this man doing something to this woman, it's nothing they can say. They not being, oh, I don't want to deal with Puff right now because of this. You know, it's nothing nobody could say, you know what I mean? To make him seem like he's squeaky clean. They saved that to show the world that we got something on you and we're going to destroy you. And that's what they doing. And it's like, I tell people, you got to be careful about this right here.
Mm-hmm.
This thing right here is a destroyer, this phone.
Mm.
It don't matter how long you text somebody, they still got the information. So any information that anything happened down any years, 20 years, if they had two-way pager, they had text messages, they still got access to all that information. So you got to always be careful what you video, what you talk on them lines, because it will come back to bite you. And people, if you don't think, it's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Big Brother is watching.
Yes.
Let's watch this clip right here. This is one we did not play from last night. This is Bieber with Diddy, and then we'll get some final thoughts and close this show out, even though I could talk to these guys for another 9 hours. Here we go. All right, so for context, I should have set it up. This is the video where Diddy is checking Bieber for a wire. So obviously, people think that Diddy did in fact groom Justin Bieber as well as Usher. It's all intertwined, but this is just video where he believes that Bieber is now being wired. So let's watch it.
You know, this is like the mafia. You know, when two mobsters meet up with each other and they give each other a hug? It's because they're checking each other to see if they're wired or not. That's the whole thing behind that. They could really give a shit about hugging the other guy.
Tommy, your reaction to that video? I mean, it's sad on many levels. I mean, in a way, I guess Diddy helped Bieber get to the level of stardom that he's at, but it appears it came at a huge price. I mean, these are the types of things that people do unalive themselves about, and I really hope that Bieber gets the help that he's going to need, along with Usher and all these other alleged victims, because this is the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg, and I think all hell is going to break loose. But your reaction to that video, Tommy?
Here's what I'll say. There's a lot of video of Bieber talking about the early days of him being a rock star. And he breaks down every single time he talks about it. He starts crying. He says that he wouldn't wish it on anybody on planet Earth. However, he's never, ever thrown a hatchet at Puff Daddy, and I don't think he's gonna. I really don't. I don't, unless they have something on film.
Why won't he?
Well, I mean, first of all, the stigma, right? If he did something, if this really did happen, and he did it to get into the music industry, or he felt like he had to, he's married to a woman, right? This is a heterosexual man, and 2024 is a lot different than 1988. but there are still a lot of people that would not want that kind of information, even if they weren't one of the most public figures on earth, right? But the idea that you know, that just tarnishes everything about this guy's life. I think it's just a, you know, it says maybe you weren't as talented. Maybe you got your job this way. Maybe the only reason you're famous is because of this. And there's a bunch of baggage that goes with something like that. That's got to be awful. I don't see him coming forward with any of this. And he's been, I mean, super quiet, right? There's no talk at all. So I think he's going to stick that way.
And Mossberg Mom says fear. That could be it. One final piece of news that came out. Lance Bass of NSYNC fame. That's Space Coast's favorite group of all time. Lance Bass revealed while speaking to Andy Cohen of Bravo TV fame. He says, the very last show in Orlando, I overheard him, meaning Diddy, talking to Justin Timberlake and being like, you need to drop these effers. You need to go solo. You need to drop them. I was like, I don't like you anymore, Diddy, at my own show. What the hell are you doing? Is basically what he said. What, Tommy, just back to you on this, because I know you know about this. What is the deal with now Justin Timberlake and Diddy? Is there some kind of connection there? Is he just giving him advice?
Yeah, honestly, he could have just been shooting dude. I've never heard that clip. I've never seen that. They're of the people that, you know, there's a lot of names that get brought up a lot because they spent a lot of time with Diddy. And then there are names that seem to be like in a tighter inner circle, that those are the ones that are really getting trashed right now in the media. And unfortunately, it's just AB nailed this, right? Nothing goes away, right? Nothing goes away. So there's a lot of video out there of Diddy that didn't age well. Like when he's joking on a talk show and he says, you know, at the parties, you got to have water for women because they like to drink water. Got to have locks on the door because you don't want them getting out. Okay, well, that might have been really funny in 2018 or whenever he said it. But we're looking at all of these videos now through a lens of 2024, knowing he's sitting in MDC Brooklyn charged with a bunch of crimes. And it does taint how you look at videos, right? It does taint how you look at stuff, because like the video of Justin Bieber where he says he's given him a Lamborghini. I did a video about that video. But if you watch the entire thing, Bieber looks uncomfortable, but he could be uncomfortable because they're doing a skit, right? I mean, honestly, that clip, the way they edited that down shows a very different, they're trying to show a much different outcome. The truth of the matter was that looked like it was very well rehearsed, that 555 thing and all that. If you watch the entire deal, I think it's we got to be careful because this is gaining momentum, and there's so much stuff that's coming out that a lot of it is just money.
Everybody gonna get a. It's like Cat Williams said it, that 2024 is not going to be a good look for a lot of entertainers.
Wow.
And when he said that, and it don't matter, he must have, it's like he must have seen something for him to say that. And it's like, it's happening, you know what I mean? And it's just, it's like certain people say certain things and it happens.
Yeah, he nailed it. That was on the Club Shay Shay podcast. He was on there with Shannon Sharp, and I mean, he started naming names. He started with Diddy, and he nailed it.
Wow, it's crazy. For those who do not know, this book is coming to you soon from Larry LaVine. Lies My Lawyer Told Me. Larry J. LaVine. Larry, Diddy, it appears, will be in the MDC for the foreseeable future. This trial could take a while. I'm a poet. I don't even know it. Tommy, what is the road ahead in the next month, 6 months for Diddy look like?
Well, he's gonna start falling into a routine. There are if he's in solitary, the rumors that are coming out is that they've got him in some kind of a like
suicide watch.
You know, there's so many rumors that are coming out. Once he gets into a routine and he begins to program, you know, he starts doing the same thing every day. He's just going to be on an emotional roller coaster that's a hell that you can't understand unless you've been there. You're going to spend half your time thinking about when you get out because you're not going to get convicted. and you're calling people and talking on the street about, yeah, you know, we're going to do this and that. And the second you hang up, that little voice in the back of your head goes, what are you talking about? You're never going to get out of prison. And those two things are going to drive you insane until the judge says, this is how much time you get. And then you can start to adjust. But this is the worst time, in my opinion, as a convict. The worst time I did was waiting to hear what my sentence was. Because you do this one, you know, every news, you know, that like there was a shooting, right? A mass shooting while I was the day before I was going in to get sentenced. And I'm just watching the news and I'm like, don't let it be an AR. Don't let it be an AR. Don't let it be an AR. It's an AR. I'm going in front of the judge the next day and I've got, you know, those on my case. It absolutely changed what I got sentenced, right?
Wow.
And Larry said something interesting earlier when he said that, you know, you go into court and the judge says, were you promised anything to get you to plead guilty today? Yeah. This dude said I'd get 10 years, right? And we just got a deal. He said he talked to the judge will freak out if you say that. No, you haven't been promised nothing. No, that you're just deciding to do this. But they do promise you, and you don't always get what you get promised. Trust me.
By the way, if you these guys are amazing. If you like the content, you enjoyed the show, please hit subscribe. Please hit the like button. COE also put up a Patreon page where you can help support the show. It takes a village to put this show together. Look at this from Mossberg Mom. Best podcast on YouTube. You guys, thank you so much, Mossberg. I appreciate that. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis have apparently separated. Another one is Ashton Kutcher. Larry LaVine, this is your book, again, coming to a bookstore near you. Lies, my lawyer told me, you are a professional prison consultant. This is what you do for a living.
I'm the very first prison consultant. I started the industry.
There you go. So now when Diddy is watching this on his contraband phone and sees you and calls you, what advice do you give him?
He needs to pray to God. He needs to find God. He needs salvation. He needs to pray that God influences that judge, that he may possibly get a sentence that maybe he'll get out one day.
Larry, by the way, the Ashton Mila thing, it is a rumor. Most people believe it to be true, but we'll have to wait. Go ahead, Larry.
Everything is a rumor that you hear on social media. 50% of what you hear is bullshit, and the other half isn't true. I mean, really. The things people say that I said. They said that on social media, on everywhere. It was on World Star, I think, that I said that Diddy's on a hunger strike. I never said that he was on a hunger strike. I said that he wasn't eating, my source said. But when you go into custody at the beginning, people don't eat. People are all paranoid. People are numb. So you can't believe everything that you see. You just can't. But I would give him advice, keep his mouth shut. Him running his gums is not going to get him less time, really. He's got too many charges stacked against him. And he needs to plan that, or he needs to come to the realization he's going to essentially be there the rest of his life. That's a fact.
That is a scary, scary ass fact. This is something you only see here on STS when we bring our best guests, and then they bring us photos of Diddy as a paper boy, like the age of a paper boy. He said he was a paper boy from Mount Vernon, New York. A.B. Butler's business is back in the game, entertainment. He's been in the music industry even when he was behind bars. Again, I just want to say this. These are three guys who hit rock bottom, the lowest of the low, ended up behind bars, and all three have turned their lives around. That is very admirable. It is like turning around a cruise ship. Everyone's got things they're dealing with in their life that they would like to change. People say, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this. And it's so hard just to do that. So the fact that these guys can go from being criminals to good guys with productive lives, kudos to all of them. A.B. Butler, by the way, tomorrow at, I keep looking at the wrong camera. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time, you've got America's most respected detective. That is Phil Waters and FBI agent Scott Duffy. Phil is arguably the best police interviewer that ever was, with a crazy confession rate. He's going to break down the Maddie Soto police interviews where they're interviewing her mother and her boyfriend. The boyfriend is accused of murdering her and doing horrible things to her before that happened. A.B. Butler, you are the man. I learned so much from these guys. Put that right in front of the camera.
That's my show in Fort Dix with Puff, 1995.
Look at that. Look at that. That's another one. AB, if you're cool with texting them to me, I'll put them up on our Instagram, Surviving the Survivors, the Instagram. I would love to post them there if you're cool with sending them.
Oh, yeah. I send them to you.
Or send them to Steve Cohen. He'll get them to me. But AB, your final thoughts today before we say goodbye.
My final thoughts is, Puff, just be in there. Be to yourself. Don't sit there and talk to everybody, because everybody ain't your friend. If you don't learn that now, you're never going to learn it, bro. You know what I mean? And I just hope the best for, the family, his kids. And just keep your head up, man. And then when things go well, man, I could definitely pass the favor back, bring a show up there and do it for you, bro. Hopefully you don't be there. That's all I can say,
That's a lot. Appreciate all you guys, especially AB, showing us some pictures that I don't think the world has seen yet. So we best guess in true crime. As I say, it's not just a tagline. It's not hyperbole. It is our existence every single day. And Tommy's going to be by my side as we go through the Diddy stuff, because he's staying on top of it, and he will be here for many more shows. And I will get AB back and the Larry LaVine show. I mean, the guy needs his own show. The guy needs to be syndicated immediately. We'll see it back here at 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow with the Matty Soto police interviews. Until then, love you, America. Love you, Mount Vernon. Love you wherever Larry is in California, somewhere, Arizona. And, of course, think of the people in the path of this hurricane. It's going to be gnarly tonight.
Amen.
Take care, everybody.
Amen.